Get somebody in there to super fix the machine and not just like put. I hope so.
Greetings, fellow geeks and gamers. It's Susan here. We're going to be doing some art today. You guys can't hear the music right now. That's okay. You'll hear it in just a moment. We're going to be doing some quote-unquote spooky art. We're not going to not be blah blah blah. It's not going to be actually that spooky, but let's see what we've got. Let's see if I did this right. I want to do something fun, so I did a little sketch ahead of time if I did this right. So I drew all this while the countdown was going on. I forgot to cross my T's. Oh well. There we go. Cute little thing. Not a big deal. Just a little thing to do. Create. And I'm not going to save that one. That one was just a quick little doodle. Doesn't need to be saved. Alright guys, let's figure out what we're doing today. Let's draw some stuff. So I want to create like a whole scene, right? You guys can't see these, but I have kind of a reference for what I want to draw here. And so I need to scope this out, set this up where I am happy with the layout of things. So we're going to start off with this. For this I actually want my pixel brush, but we'll put it down to 10. $11's fine, whatever. This needs to be about the... There we go. 1/3, 1/4 mark. And then we're going to have our cauldron. So we need like a fire circle in like the center of the room. And then the cauldron, we're going to be drawing over top of all of this, mind you. This is just me figuring out the shape of things. And then that'll have an angle so you can see inside of it. But it won't have this top up. So we'll be working in this shape. Big old bowl, that's all I'm looking for here. And then behind that, I'm going to have my witch. And she'll be stirring the cauldron. That's going to be all bubbly. We're going to have fire below it. I'm going to put jack-o'-lanterns. Right? We're going to have a rafter here. And in the rafter, we're going to put the spider web. We'll have rafters on both sides. So we'll have spider webs on both sides. And we'll do a quick thing here, but we'll flesh this out, don't get me wrong. And of course the witch, she's gonna be in her big robe. What else? What else are we gonna have in here? She needs to have bookcase. So we'll have like a bookcase over here. And it'll have all these little books in it. And we'll put creative little titles on these books when we get to it. But books. She needs her recipe stand, so there'll be like a recipe stand here with like a book on it. And the recipe stand will have a little thing on top for a Birdman. What else? What else? What else? I want this to be, it's going to be filled with all sorts of little spooky things as we go, so, this is a rafter, she needs like an oven for throwing kids in the background, so let's get like an oven going on back here. Because that's one of the classics. We're going to have an oven, which means she's going to have some sort of pantry behind her for all of her spices and stuff. Some sort of side table. We need to put her broom over here. That'll be where the broom's at. Alright, so this is our plan. We're gonna draw on top of this, though. I'm gonna be making this in a lot of layers. This is gonna be uncomfortable for me. We're gonna do this until we're finished with the drawing. So, this is gonna be a long day today. And I'm okay with that. As long as wifey doesn't get mad and tell me I need to get off, I plan on going through this until the end. And if she does, too bad for everyone else, because, you know, she's my wife. She gets to tell me stuff like that. So let's start off with a good foundation. Because a cauldron sits a little up off the ground on feet. And they do this so you can put the fire underneath the cauldron. Right? So that's just how a cauldron works. Okay, no, let's not start there. Let's start here. I'm going to turn my stabilizer on, even though I don't use it as often anymore. I think it's going to be important for drawing this line. I haven't seen Rui on in a while. I used to catch his streams all the time, but I haven't seen him online. I know it's a random aside, but I just was thinking of people I watch who do art. Rui was one I would watch on a very regular basis, and I haven't seen him online in a bit. I'm sure he has life stuff going on, but I should check in on him and see how he's doing. And they have these nice thick rims. Nope. Let's do this line first. This line I pretty much do want to trace this because it was done on a hemicircle. Am I gonna have to turn the picture already? There we go. It's crazy how some lines can be super easy to do, and then others, my brain and hands are like, nah, that's not something we know how to do. And I'm not sure if I'm going to go through and actually ink this up when I'm done or not. We'll see. I want this to look nice and bulky on the rim, but then for it to come to a pretty abrupt stop on the part where it cuts in. And this needs to be more squared. Which means this rim on the inside can come out a little to give us that sort of squared look. Okay, so we're gonna have this big old cauldron. Cauldrons also have hooks to be hung on chains over a flame in a less intimate setting, so not in a house, but like if you're cooking for an army and then make for an easy way to carry it, quote unquote easy. For multiple men, you would get one on each of the 4 rings, or 2 rings, depending on the size of the cauldron. And you would lift the whole thing up. We're gonna do 2 rings, I think. I think that'll be a little easier. Alright, so let's decide the size of these feet again. They need to be long enough that they allow wood to be stacked underneath the thing. So then you'd have all your wood down here and you get your flames coming up underneath it. Simple as that. And then we have like a stone, what's the right word for it? It's not a hearth. Is it a hearth? Maybe it is a hearth. I don't think it's the right word though, but a stone spot on the... Wait, that's the wrong way. I want this to go bigger as it goes down. There we go. A stone floor circle. Yeah, it serves the same purpose as your fire ring when you're doing like a campfire. It has a proper name. Is it hearth? I don't... Anyways. So this is going to be stones. So these are actually wider here. Because this is facing us. And so there we go. We have our stone ring that it would sit on. And so how this would work is you would set this, so you have this ring, and you would pile your wood in the middle, and then you would lift your cauldron, set over top of it, and then you'd pour your water into your cauldron and then light the fire after everything was in position. This thing would be made out of cast iron, because that's what they had, but this would be cast by bell makers. Because that's just how cauldrons were done, is they were made by bell makers. I need to give this a belly. Because it should have a belly. And if you don't know what a belly is, it's just a type of curve. It technically already has a belly, but I need my belly to stick out more. It's like a belly of a knife or a belly of a spoon. There we go. And this gives it more structure. Allows it to hold more, a lot more. A little bit wider belly goes for a lot when it comes to a circle. You get a lot more room from just a little bit, especially on something this big. What feels like it should be a minor upgrade to your space is a lot when it comes to total, just because of how much volume circles give you. So we want to spread that out a little bit like that. So then let's get some of this. We need to square this up just a little. Which means I can narrow this now that I've got this squared up a little. There we go. Oh, nope. Too far. There we go. That's still too far. We want this probably like... There we go. That's what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for because that matches up too much with the other side. There we go. Okay. That's not quite right either, but we're gonna stick with that. Alright, let's get... The fuck? I don't know how I did that, but whatever. Somehow I accidentally copied cauldron lines. Whatever, it's fine. So let's go in here and give this some basic... So it's going to be like a dark gray, right? Because it's cast iron. So we're going to start off with like this. We're just going to go ahead and fill this up, right? Like, so I am going to be really lazy about it. I'm going to create an area. Let's do that first. Okay. So I'm going to create an area. I'm going to use the fill tool, and then all we'll have to do is tighten things up. We'll have to clean up the seam between the fill and the not filled area. Which I don't mind. The hearth, of course, is going to be a different color. I still don't know if hearth is the right word. That's just the only word I can think of for like an open flame like that. A stone ring like you would have for a campfire ring, but on the inside of your house. But every time I think of hearth, I think more of a... Oh, that's weird. It's fine, it's just weird. For some reason, it deleted my black. Luckily, black is just pull it all the way to the dark side. What was I saying? Oh, every time I think of hearth, I think of a fireplace. So I don't know what the term is for this type of fireplace where it's on the ground like that. But hearth might be right. I might be correct and just not remembering very well. Uh-oh. Oh, I see. Alright, let's see if that worked. Phil? Oop. Try that again. Phil? There we go. Now we have a working point, and we do everything on this from here. We can see our actual work here, and we can adjust. That's not everything, though. We still have the campfire below, the hearth. These are all on this layer, because this is all one object in my drawing, and so I kind of want to just do it all on this layer. Or the set of layers. There will be 3 layers for the cauldron. And it's going to be the outlines. We're going to clean up these outlines here in a moment. We'll actually probably be replacing them with ink lines. We'll be inking over this. Alright, so let's get a lighter gray. And we'll fix a lot of this stuff when we do shadows and stuff. So like this part is going to look super dull here. Also, it's very similar to the background color, but that's okay, because it won't be whenever we start coloring the background. We're going to go ahead and cut this bit off. That way we can fill this in, and then we'll do a whole yellow section for where the flames actively are. I think I did manage to somehow perfectly match the color of the background, which is crazy work. Okay. And then, back to our brush. Let's get like a orange. But like, I don't know. I don't know how to make a... I can't see colors well enough for this, so we're gonna hope this looks alright. We're going to put more detail into the... Well, I don't know. I actually really like the lack of detail on the shape of the flames here. So we'll be doing this whole thing with rendering, this whole flame thing. And we'll put a glow out from it whenever we get to a certain point. But we can put in just some quick little bits of orange in here. And some white. Alright, I don't have any texture on that one. And then let's get some darker reds down at the bottom. We still want it to be pretty bright. Alright, I'm actually going to go in here and I'm going to delete these lines here. And we'll make them with other colors here. To make the flame look a little bit more flame. I should probably put something in to represent the wood, but that's a future thing we'll worry about. Clean this up. Oh. I see I missed some of these outlines. Ooh, I'm going to do a lot of this stuff right here. Across this intentionally. If I can make little pitting marks, because a well-used cauldron has like little pits and stuff to it. We're going to turn this down, and we're going to turn off our stabilizer, because that's screwing me up for what I'm wanting to do here. And then let's get some of this red. We're just gonna stack these little... Also, we can do a couple... We'll do that later. We can put a couple flames licking up over the rest. Alright, I already regret the white. Let's do what we can to make the white just be there to accentuate shape and not be super noticeable. Alright, that kind of has the look we're going for. I see a little... I want to put a little bit of flame coming out over here too. Just a little. And on this side. No, I think those feet come out far enough we don't need to. Okay. So let's go in here with our dark... Get darker. I just want to scuff this up. We don't want it looking new. Let's get like a rust. What's that, like a red? And then we'll blend this in. Because even a well-oiled cauldron is eventually going to get a little rust on the outside. Especially around the feet. Now the interesting thing about this, when we go to do shadows and stuff, our light source is going to be in the very middle of everything we're doing, because it's here underneath the cauldron. So that's something that we're going to have to work with, is making sure that makes sense. Alright, so there's rust only here, a little bit of rust. The rest of the top is going to be mostly fine. I'm going to go ahead and blend some of this in already, which some people don't like when you do, but I don't care. Oh yeah. Beautiful. Oop, too much. There we go. Now we have that nice, like, natural rusted look on the parts. I'm going to spread this along the bottom. And then we're actually going to take some dark and we're going to make this bottom look burned. So let's get our black in here. Take our pencil again. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And we're going to just fill this area along the very bottom with some black. Not much. Because we're going to blend this up to create a burnt effect. I put the wrong blender on my favorites, because this is the one I always use. Let's try the other one, I guess. Okay, so I need more. I need a bigger splotch of black to work with. So let's just do this. A bigger splotch of black to work with. Okay. So now it's starting to get that kind of actual feel to it. Of a used and living... Uh-oh. Kill this part down, though, because we want it to just be mostly out from the feet, not over the feet themselves. Because the feet are going to shield some of this from... the burning. So there's always logic in the way you should be applying and blending colors when you're doing stuff like this. But we need to make sure we get a little bit of that rust in there. Because heat causes oxidation, or helps increase oxidation. Alright, let's get some dark colors on our stones. We're gonna blend this up to make some... I want my stones to look a little uneven. We're not worried about shadows right now. We're just worried about making this look not too uniform. Because these stones shouldn't be one solid piece. There we go. Oh, okay, we can also do a little blending in the flames. To give them a little bit more natural... Okay. So let's go in and let's actually ink this proper now. So let's get this a nice heavy line in black. We're going to do the outline of this at 20. Now this is just the outer line. Any details we're going to be doing... Nope, let's make that 15. Is that better? I'm making this a little cartoony, so I kind of want these real thick lines on the outside. I don't want that thick line there. I want a thin line there. So let's back that up. Also, I'm going to bring this down to 10. I think 10 is going to look better. Yeah. We will do 5 for the little lines in. I still want this to be thick and cartoony. And 10 looks like it's going to fit the bill rather well. being this nice, thick and cartoony while still maintaining our details and not overdoing it. That was a bad line. That was a bad line. That was a bad line. Why am I doing that same spot every time? There we go, that was better. Still not great, but I'll take it. Continue our way around. Once again, we're going to bring this down here. I'm running out of working space there. You know what? Let's just cheat a little here. So I can delete part of this and still keep my look if I want to. We're going to make this with 2 lines here, and we'll fix it up this way. Alright, we're just going to delete the... Oh, no. We're just going to delete this, and we'll fix it. Not that big of a deal. We can fix that as well if we need to. And the nice part is, since we colored here already, we have what area we're working in. We want this to be a nice thick line. And if anyone wants to give me any guff about this, this is no different than using like a ruler or a protractor. We're just using tools here to get the shapes we want. There we go. Oh yeah, beautiful. Okay. We're gonna do a second one. And we will adjust from there. Nope, that's not it. I see what I want, though. That's what I want. Okay, and then we're going to erase the parts we don't want. So I don't want this upper bit, because I want it to converge to make the shape we're after. And we're going to make this a nice hard line. So we get that kind of squared appearance to our cauldron. We're going to square that off. Wah, 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 wah. Why? It was doing so well yesterday. Why is the internet doing so bad today? Okay, it's okay. We're there, I guess. I don't know what our delay looks like anymore, but we're there, I guess. Okay. Is that part of the plan? It is. Okay. We're not done here though. We have some more stuff we need to. Okay, so this. Yeah, that's an erase bit. Next, we have to fill our cauldron. So we're gonna go back to this, and we're gonna go down to a 5-pixel line. I don't like 5. Let's do 2. Let's see if 2 works out the way I want it to. It's gonna be really thin, but it might still be what I'm looking for. There we go. I should go ahead and do this as a circle too and just fix this up so it's nice and clean. I wasn't too far off. That's nice. Oh wait, first I guess I should erase the other one. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That one was okay to be because that was doing the thing that will be blending over. But this could be right here. And then we erase these lines on the inside. I didn't get those lines blended in, huh? Shit. Alright, there we go. We still have that nice rust there. It turned out just fine. Let's go back in here. Now we get to do some spoopy green color of some sort. Some sort of bubbly concoction. So we're going to do this first. And then I'm actually going to blend create this misty effect coming up off of it. we want it to be clear that this thing is boiling hot. And you can use bubbles to do that, you know, that's an option. But I think making this foggy steam creates a more natural thing that our brains can kind of tell, oh, that's steam, that's fog, that's hot. That's hot. We want to blend some of this in. We want to pull some of the dark down into it though. Because that creates this layered rolling texture. There we go. We get like this nice foggy looking cauldron. All right, let's clean some of this up a little. Oh, that's too hard. I want to do that lighter. These nicks and stuff, we want them to be here. But we don't want them to be super hard. We want them to be nice, soft, barely in there. There we go. I like how I'm saying I'm making this cartoony, and then I go through all this work to make the flames and the, fog, steam, look a little extra realistic. Too hard. Okay. Now we have this cool little smoky cauldron. Let's do some spooky shadows. Okay. So this is obviously going to cast a shadow here. Because again, our source of light is our flame below, right? That also means we're going to have this bit is going to be in the shadows as well. It's going to be about the midway point. And it's going to come out more as you get a little further up. So we're going to do that, and we're going to start this. We're going to make this part simple. We're just going to do an airbrush on black. And we're going to set this to like 50 opacity. And we're going to cast, so this part's going to have shadows around it. Actually, this whole bit would be in a shadow, right? So our shadows would go like this. As the light would pour around it. But we can probably do this. Same with this. So our flames like that. And same here. And then these, the whole outside of these is going to be in shadow. Because our goal would be to make this look like the light is pouring out on top, which means whenever I do the highlights, we're gonna have to make this very bright. The shadows are gonna be hard shadows. With the light, we're gonna be trying to work with some gradients, because this is a sort of situation. Or I might do layers of light. I might do one at this opacity, one at this opacity, and we'll layer out the light. And by that, I mean what we'll do is we'll do multiple layers, and they'll each have the same opacity, but they'll stack on top of each other to create a higher opacity. Alright, so then this... it's all underneath the flame, or behind the flames. The shadows, that's what I'm trying to say. And this is going to do this. Shadows don't actually work like this, but I think it's going to look good for the drawing, so I don't care. What's that look like? Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's do that then. Now, obviously, this is going to have a glow to it as well. So I'm actually going to not put any shadows up there, but I might put some shadows along there. I don't know. I think this might work out the way it is. Let us do this, though, and make this look more like a three-dimensional shape. Alright, how does that look? Well, I need to clean it up. Let's get this back to its original width. And this needs to come up higher. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cast these shadows down here. It doesn't have to be on this layer, but I think it'll work out if I do it here, so that way I don't have to think about it later. Alright, and then over top of everything, I want to take more of this green. And I just want to apply a little bit of this up here. And we're going to make 3 things of steam coming up off of it. And also... Up here, I want to get my blender out. Blender out. And I want to mostly kill this sound. Like, I want to blend out most of it, but just so we have this little wispy... Oh no. What the heck happened? Hold on here. All of that's wrong because it put it on the wrong layer. So let's try that again. Oh, I must have accidentally hit something to lose my extra layer. That's what happened. Okay, let's try that again. So first, let's put these little swatches down to make our steam. Then I'm gonna put this glow here. Oh, that's what happened. So I want this here. Not on the lines on this. Just a little touch there. And then on the steam, we want to brush this. We want to blend this down. There we go. So that feels like almost nothing. But it creates this haze above, and an uneven haze at that, above the cauldron. Okay, I also want to get this. Actually, can I put this below? I think I can. Fire. And I want to put this below, if I can, if it'll let me. Because I don't want it to come over the cauldron. But I want it, there we go. I want it to warm around it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oop. And give this kind of warm feeling around the cauldron itself without affecting the colors on the cauldron. And that really makes those shadows stick out. And we can use this glow on future layers to give that sort of warmth from the flame from underneath. And then above that, so apparently I see what I've been doing, and I didn't know that was a thing even. Apparently if you hit B, it copies. Alright, so there, that should give us an interesting little glow. So there's the first step. There's our cauldron. What is going on with my bit rates? Gosh! Did my music stop? I thought we were on loop. Okay. I don't know what happened there. I also don't know what's going on with my bitrate today. Whatever. It's fine. Alright, so we have this. I think this is... Okay, I actually do need more shadow here. Shadows. Let's draw this out. Because this... Oh. This should have extra shadow coming off of it. And of course these shadows will then run all the way out. And they should get wider as they go. Alright. So there's our cauldron. All spooped up. Where's my mouse? There it is. Oh yeah, that's gonna look so good when we get to that point. Alright. So next... what do we work on next? Oh, looks like my internet's back. Hope it hasn't been too bad, guys. Sorry about that. It's dropping again. What is going on with the internet? I'm sorry for yelling. This is just really starting to piss me off because I keep thinking it's figured out. I also just realized I need to fix this on the shadow level. Go away, share cred with fire. Dismiss. Dismiss. I don't care about that. Okay. I need to... on the shadow layer... transform. Okay. Because like I had said, this is a shadow coming from a specific place, and we're in a 3D space. Alright, there we go. Reset little nubbin. Very cool. Okay. What are we drawing next? Let's draw... so we went down to 10 to draw our thick lines. Okay, cool. We can do something real... well, that's going to be all the way in the foreground, though, so we need to not do that. These, actually, whatever we do now, I just put in front. So I need this to be, like, foreground stuff. So maybe we do actually do what I was thinking of. So these are like rafters. Kind of want to actually stick with this. Nope, this needs to be smaller. So let's get a nice... is this brown? What did I... Oh, I had brown for, like, rust. Put this back to a normal size. Yeah, we can start with this. Okay, cool. Man, we're gonna do a lot of stuff with the wood grain, too, here. I already know I want to move this one. So let's just do that now. The more I'm looking at it, the more I don't like where I have it, so we'll fix that problem. There we go. That's better. You know what I could do? I could do this. Selection. Invert. Wrong one. Wrong one. So we start from there. Now this is going to be interesting because like up right above I'm going to put like the green glow, but further down I'm going to put the glows from the flames, and then I have to cast shadows from different objects as we go. This layer I probably should have done later, honestly, but that's okay. So let's get a little bit of this. Let's get some lighter brown. Ooh. I want a really small... We're going to be making some wood grain here. That's the plan, at least. So hopefully the blend goes well. Nope, you know what? We need a blend that pushes. We need a hard-edged blend. There we go. That was it. Simple. We get a nice little wood look, and then we're going to go over this with a gray. So like a dark gray. We're going to do this, and we're actually going to turn the opacity down. There we go. And then we get this aged wood look. Very cool. It worked out rather well. Okay. Select, deselect. We're going to go back to this layer. We're going to go back to black. We're going to go back to this. We're going to refresh this, and we're going to put this down to 4 pixels. Okay, and we're going to straight line first. We're not going to use straight lines whenever I get to actually doing the tension web, the tension part of the web. Because those should have a little bit of curve to them. Why the fuck did it do that? Caused by the tension. The tension is what causes them to have that curve. Kind of like if you to other high tension things, you'll find that that's a pretty common thing that occurs. Okay. So then we're going to go through. Oh. Clean this up. Now these should be good, but they shouldn't be perfect. Spiders are really consistent, but they aren't perfect. Some of them actually come really close to being perfect, by the way. But we're doing spooky spiders, so they're not going to have that little perfection. Let's get in a better position here. Also, why am I drawing all the way over there? Okay, and the further down we get, the straighter we want these to be. Because the tension is holding them very tight at this point, and they no longer have any slackness caused from the tension being relieved. There we go. There's one side done. The only downside to not using the stabilizers, it's harder to see where my pencil is. Because it's just a little, especially when I'm working at 4 pixels for my brush size. In fact, it would almost be tighter than some of these others. Alright, how does that look without the plan behind it? Oh yeah, look at those spider webs. Look at them spider webs. Oh my gosh, why? It's fine. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna draw a little spider here. I'm gonna do the crazy thing, and these are gonna be 1 pixel. And from this side, we're going to draw another one. This one's going to be hanging from a web. I love when it does that. Okay, there we go. There we go. Couple spiders for you. I hope some people who I know come in and see this, because this is the sort of fun stuff that some of them really like. Okay, so there's a cauldron, there's the spoopy spiders. Okay. So we actually need to move this down below the cauldron and start in on this. So this is going to be which spot? Okay. So let's see where I have her positioned. Okay. Now how do I want my witch to look? Do we want her spooky or do we want her kind of cutesy? I think I want to go for a little cutesy because everything else is a little cartoony with like creepy vibes to it. So I think we're going to go with like a little bit of a cutesy witch. So let's bring this back down to 10. Start with... We're going to make her kind of cartoony, so we're going to give her a big head. Which we're going to top with this hat. Everything else after that, I think we hand draw. So first we erase this. I guess that's more of a wizard's hat. Witches' hats have like the crooked little boot. I want that to be in a smaller, because I want this details to be in smaller. So erase. Alright, let's erase these, because I also want to put this in the smaller detail line size. But we do want to get like her scraggly hair. Oh, you know what? That's fine. We can do that. I can have my pencil be the width I'm looking for here. Let's do this. Because again, all I care about is getting the curve to look right. So I'm willing to cheat a little. To get it to fit just the way I want. Even if it means fudging with the numbers just a little bit. You know what? Let's go to this. We can just... There we go. Back to the pencil. Back to the circle. Erase. Alright. Then we can draw her little face details. I guess I could do like... have it so she's not looking directly at the camera. No. Just no. It was a good face, but no, it's not right. This needs to be... I want to make this almost... Oh, wait, that's an idea.